All right, guys. Let's talk about the whole AI thing. And yeah, I had to write all this down because there's a lot to talk about. So anyway, my company has operated since 2007, and in that time, I've employed a small number of artists, especially one who has dominated the majority of my productions. While I offer considerable leeway in personal expression, I consider myself a visual artist, possessing definitive descriptions and referencing specific ideas. Back when Amethyst was an online homebrew setting, and my degus are definitely being loud, I received permission from numerous artists who were shocked at being asked to employ their art in my campaign. When Amethyst went legit, I approached many of these same artists to produce original artwork. In the end, only a handful came on board, with one eventually coming to define the setting. However, establishing that setting involved employing many of these initial illustrations as inspiration for new original ones. This practice continues, and many artists can point to others as inspiration for their ideas. This is not limited to visual art, and I have spoken at length of the writers that inspired me and at which today I still attempt to emulate. Now, regarding AI generated images, there are many facets to consider, and I wholly believe that taking an aggressive, hardline, and extreme approach to both the subject and the people discussing it is discourteous. Many subjects in our world can be considered black and white, but this is not one of them. I will not condemn artists that believe in the potential future of AI images, and I believe that this technology could have future applications. I am an artist, a publisher, and a coordinator for artist allies at fan conventions. Regarding the latter, I have decided to ban all AI generated images, at least currently, due to their capacity to undercut legitimate artists by selling art someone had no hand in creating. As an artist, I can understand the issue regarding someone using your work in a manner you didn't intend. However, I also know copyright and trademark law is confusing and often does not keep up with the technology that challenges it. There are AI systems that replace writers and musicians. Heck, I just spent 2 weeks fighting with several human people at Facebook, only to realize that Meta has legit secretly replaced the entire support team with bots posing as people. Visual art is now under attack in a way not unlike the crisis involving digital music distribution at the end of the last century. And while studios and artists were able to destroy the originators of that technology, the technology itself persisted, changing the landscape of music forever. However, it did not kill the music industry as some people predicted, and not 20 years earlier, this same industry began attacking the rise of electronic music, which included sampling real music by real musicians that might not have appreciated someone using their instruments in a manner they did not intend. As for my career, my progenitors and I have been criticized for using word processors and grammar checkers, the latter being an AI system that learned writing styles from actual writing. And while some bloggers and news reporters have criticized the use of AI bot writing, I have noticed a pronounced lack of mass outrage. As a publisher, I can understand the appeal of employing AI generated images. I won't criticize or condemn its use by small operations that lack a large budget for artwork of any quality. And I won't entertain the accusations of them stealing money from artists, as this returns back to the classic piracy debate companies have desperately tried to levy against people using Pirate Bay and other distribution networks. I have had my work constantly pirated, and I sympathize with people who cannot afford to read my work. In the end, I understand that while some people will steal it if they can get away with it, a lot of others do so because of their lack of money. It was never money I would receive anyway. And yes, there is the case to be made with these artists that if they ever downloaded copyrighted media without paying for it, or employed torrents to download anything with the intent of circumventing a financial cost, they are hypocrites. Thankfully, I am a well-established publisher with enough financial security to pay for our work. In fact, with my last two projects, my hindrance had nothing to do with money, but rather time. My insistence on using only one or a few artists can often limit the number of images I acquire. Ultimately, I won't condemn people for using AI systems to create images as a lark or a momentary curiosity. I also won't condemn anyone using AI systems to gain inspiration for their own original illustrations. And yes, I will not attack other publishers, especially entry-level ones, for using AI-generated work to offset their lack of money. I have enough problems dealing with social health issues and politics to make enemies on this front. despite so many artists willing to end friendships over this. However, I will say that none of my close friends who are artists have taken this hardline approach. Additionally, I won't condemn legit artists that employ AI in some way to streamline their output. If an image you produce with the help of AI looks precisely like an image you would have created if given enough time, it's difficult for me to go after you. I also won't go after hobbyists posting what I consider to be imaginative images posted to the various AI groups. Many of these have been imagining screenshots from games that don't exist or photos from movies that were never made. Many of those attacking AI and the people who use them do not fully understand how the system works and what it has managed to create in the last few weeks. That said, I don't believe entering a few prompts into a machine and generating an image is art. And I believe name dropping a specific artist in a prompt is wrong. Some legit artists have made exceptions regarding artists that have passed, but even then, I'm generally not a fan. If you use AI as the sole means of creating an image, even if you're an artist, I don't think that's considered art. But if you use it as a tool, as you would with Photoshop, at some part in the process, I believe that there is room for that in this field. I have seen artists submit their original work into the system to see variations. I do not see a problem when using your own original artwork in training an image. Some critics have expressed tolerance for those purchasing what is called an isolated or blank AI that is trained wholly on public domain images as well as your own personal work, leading to the rise of what is being ironically referred to as ethical AI. But if you use a public AI as part of a process to create an image identical to one you would have made normally, I don't know if there's an argument there. In the same way that I use Grammarly but don't wholly rely on it to produce my writing, I take its suggestions and often disagree with them. I also know of legit talented artists that use AI to create images in their style due to recent physical disabilities that prevent them from producing work they are known for. I know of one artist that enters a sketch into an AI, generates dozens of variations, then finishes the work via Photoshop, another program many artists once had an issue with. So if any artists I employ utilize AI as part of the process to create images in the style and quality they are already known for, I will not condemn them. Finally, it's important to understand that AI is not going anywhere. People have often complained about the rise of AI and the stripping of humanity, but we've also done nothing to impede that. That's part of another conversation, but we know that all technology, even what we feel to be pure and impossible to corrupt, will be. You don't explore the ends of the cosmos and colonize distant planets without detonating nuclear weapons. The internet came from military applications. And the truth is, no technology, with maybe human cloning being currently an exception, has ever been protested away. No lawsuit has ever destroyed knowledge or technology. It's the Streisand effect, alas. The more you talk about it, the more people will discover it, and the harder it will be to suppress. Lawsuits will happen, and some might succeed. But to think that AI-generated images will just go away, it's a bit of a dream. And to those artists ending friendships and openly attacking people trying to have a conversation about this, you are not doing anyone any favors, and you're only going to make the situation worse for you. It's easy for conventions and large publishers to make such a stance given their budgets compared to the street cred they would earn. But that runs the risk of alienating entry-level and small publishers trying to break into the field. It's easy to take the long path if you can afford a car. So it comes down to this. Will Deus Ex Machina employ what I'll call AI-assisted art? Well, to be honest, it's likely going to happen at some point. But these will be done in conjunction with established artists and not as a way to circumvent them. I will allow artists I trust to use this tool as a way for them to produce the work at the style we already pay them for, at the quality we expect. I may employ it as a way to convey ideas to artists for them to take inspiration from. I may also use one as a placeholder for an image to be replaced with a paid commission later before a product's publication. The important thing to note is that our art budgets will not be affected, nor will it with our relationships with others in the field unless they make it a problem. And I know I'm going to catch heat for this, especially for those that didn't make it this far and are passing judgment without engagement. But try to think of the whole picture here. Anyway, thank you for your time and patience. This has been Chris from Deus Ex Machina.